kids, it's Blackjack with 396 Guitars. We have a Gretsch on the bench today. Big hollow body, really big honking guitars. This guitar's been setting for a long time, so we're going to do another one of those. Let's get to work. So what we have here is a Gretsch Electromatic. Now, off camera, I have checked all the electronics. So you have a Gibson Les Paul style toggle switch in it, right? However, you have on Gretsch a master volume, right? Then you have a volume for each pickup, depending on where you're at, and they react exactly the same way. And then you have one tone knob for both instead of a tone knob for each. So depending on what position you're in, your tone is going to act on both pickups. They're kind of like TV Jones pickups in these guitars. It is what it is. Client brought it to me. He happens to be a co-worker at a place that I subcontract to part-time. And he said it's his, I believe it's his father's guitar, and it's been sitting for a long time. And he goes, I don't know, is it even worth doing anything with? Let's just hang it up on the wall and have it be wall art. Well, all things being equal, everything's working. I can't tell you what kind of setup it has, but we're going to get into that. Now, first thing we're going to do is take the strings off, and we're going to get all of this crap out of the way. Not the knobs and stuff so much, although I might pop them off. I hate to do that, especially on an older guitar, because something might come loose. But I'm going to take the Bigsby off. I'm going to get the pick guard off. I'm going to, of course, leave the pickups in. I want to get as much off the body as I can so I can clean it up. Get the strings and all that crap off. Bigsby's working. It's not hanging up or anything. So, yeah, let's get to it. Strings off, offy. It's going to get a set of 10s on it. Now, before I get too far with this, not always, but sometimes I forget and I get ahead of myself. What I like to do, this is a floating bridge, and I don't know if it's in the right position. I won't know until later, but let's just mark it before we take it apart, because once we take the strings off, this thing is just going to go and plop right off. So what I do is mark it where it is when I start as a point of reference, right? And just a couple of pieces of tape to get this corner so I know where it was here on this corner. Within a, I don't know, within a millimeter or so. Usually there is this one does not have an other stop bar. Sometimes there's another stop bar with a Bigsby unit. But this one doesn't have it. String goes over and goes over. Usually there's a stop bar here where the string has to go under it right here and then over the Bigsby. Guess they felt like they didn't need it. Well, that's good. Somebody's got a nice knot up here for me. All right, I'm going to pause while I get these other strings off. Stand by. Okay. Yeah, sure enough, de-stringing, I stabbed myself. As I said, when you take the strings off, your bridge comes right out. It's a floating bridge. You that's kind of why I do this, to get it back to kind of center, and then you have your standard kind of tune-o-matic on there. Dog hair, all kinds of stuff on there. It looks pretty grungy. I'm going to try to clean that up too. Let's get this guy off. I think I want to take that right off because, well, I'd like to be able to clean under there, but it's been on there for so long. Maybe not. Maybe not take it all the way off. It does have the felt on it still. Yeah. Alright, no, we'll leave it on there. I'm going to move this guitar around so much, I really don't want it on there. The strap button is, the stud is so loose in the body, I'm going to have to repair that. The stud, these are usually backwards thread. I'm going to have to try to get that out of there. Yeah, I'm taking it off. Don't want it on there while I'm flipping the guitar over, and this thing's on a hinge, and they tend to want to flop all over the place. And if you're going to do it right. If you're going to do it right. Today we'll probably just show dismantle and cleaning, and maybe repair. Be ultra careful. There's your ground wire for the bridge ground. We'll try to polish this up out in the shop and clean it up a little bit. All right? Let's just take a look here. Make sure that our ground wire is secure. It's not going anywhere. It's right there. You don't want to lose your ground. Your bridge ground is right there, and that tailpiece is what holds it. That's the ground, the body ground for the entire electronic harness. So when we're wiping, we got to be ultra careful of that. And I'm just going to put a piece of tape on it. Right there. So it shows it to me and reminds me, because, well, senility is a terrible thing. It is cold in South Florida. I know it's cold everywhere in the world in the winter, but it is really cold for us. The fretboard's going to need to be cleaned really badly. There's all kinds of DNA. This guitar's been played. It's got a lot of wear on the frets, and it's got a lot of sweat and gook, DNA, dead skin cells all over the fretboard. We're going to clean all that up too. Why not? Why not? Today will be Let's Clean a Guitar video. Is there two of them? Gretsch. Gretsch has two of them. All right, if you say so. If you say so. We got a lot of cleanup on this guitar. A lot of cleanup. Very dirty. Very dirty. that kind of gets us to a point where we can work on it, right? We know we have to be careful of our ground wire, but let's get to cleaning this thing. Wow, what a filthy, filthy, filthy guitar. This is what happens when they set. You play them and play them and play them, and then they set and languish for a long time. I'm hoping this is not going to give me too much trouble. Let's try to clean up a spot here first. See what happens. I don't imagine that this is going to be like an old Gibson with nitro on it. No, it's going to clean up fairly nicely, I think. Right? Yeah. I know the camera's picking up on that, so yeah. You see what's ahead of me, right? I'm going to pause while I get the top of this cleaned up. It's just a simple wax cleaner, and it's leaving, it leaves a nice smooth surface. Really, the guitar is not in bad condition that I can tell right now. I just want to get this layer of gook off of the entire instrument before we move forward to, okay, stringing and, I got to clean all this up. Let me get the top of this and the body cleaned and the headstock, and then we'll come back and do this, and I'll show you how I do that. Stand by. All right, kids, we're back, and as usual, I have to check my volume. I'm sorry to do this. My computer likes to screw up. So you can see, guitar is nice and clean. Off camera, it took me about an hour to kind of get it down to where, yeah, it's standing tall again. I mean, it was really grungy and nasty. Took apart the headstock, got that cleaned up. There was still plastic on the truss rod cover. I took that off. It's nice and clean. Top, sides are all around. The next step is, and many of you have seen this, okay, so if it's boring you, just don't click through, I'd like you to keep watching. This is like a 600 to 800 soft sanding pad. This is what I use to clean the frets. Fret protector. I want to get these cleaned off before I start going at the actual fretboard. And there's so much tarnish and grunge on these frets that we're just kind of taking the outside. We're not doing a fret dressing. You can call this what you want. I'm really just cleaning them. They're not in terrible shape. Now, I don't know about fret level. I won't know that until I get it all set up and start playing it. But it was, the guitar was in such a state when I got it that we can only do what we can do in the steps that we do them. And right now it's cleaning the frets. And I know that I'm going to pause while I do the rest of these frets. 600 to 800 sanding pad. It's very benign, very soft. If I was going to do the whole thing, I would tape it off and really get after it. But this is going to be fine. They're cleaning up nicely. It's just an outside layer of tarnish from lack of use. So I'm going to pause while I clean those up. And then I'm going to show you, like what the camera can't see, it looks like striations in the fretboard. It's actually sweat and skin stuff built up on there. And I'm going to show you how I do that. So stand by. Okay, so the next step, I polished. I cleaned up the frets. Polishing is something different. And all of the sand from the sanding pad lands over here. Get it off of there. And it's also the grunge that was on the frets. The next step is, we're going to clean, we're going to actually scrub. The next step is we're going to scrub the fretboard. And this is what I use. And I like to put some protection just to keep the splatter down to a minimum. Right? Because, it's going to make a mess on my nice clean guitar, but this is the next step. I use just a very benign, no silicone. I know it looks counterintuitive. You don't want to put this kind of thing on there, but you got to get that gook off. I know I forgot to check my volume. I'm hoping it's not too loud. Sometimes this process will get most of it off. If it doesn't, we'll do something else. By the way, I had to sand the nut just slightly. There was all kinds of crap on there too. Yeah. I think it might have loosened it enough that it is taking it off. Find out right now. Oh yeah, some of it's still on there. That's okay. This is just the first step to getting the fretboard cleaned again to where it's acceptable and playable. Well, that'll tell the story right there. Right? Yeah, there's some on there. I can see it, especially in the money zone right here. Yep. So, my handy dandy string gauge, and this is not a flippy floppy one. This is a good one. You can read the name on it. So, there is still some crap on these on the fretboard. And the way to do that, I'm going to start right here in the middle where you can see it. You see those striations? That's where you're playing. You can see them. I can see it on the camera. Oh yeah, there's just a thick layer of gook on the fretboard. You can use kind of whatever you want to do this, but I don't recommend. I've seen guys use razor blades for this. I wouldn't do that. It's a little too sharp. See right there? Yeah, that's one. I can actually feel it with my finger. How much crap is sitting on top of the fretboard. This is a long, tedious process. Yes, I'm not going to show you the whole thing. This is only one fret that I'm showing you. One part of the fretboard. I just want to get all of that shit off of there before I oil it. I'm going to put some oil on this. Oh, sorry. Big fat head again. I'm going to oil this. After I do this entire process, I'm going to oil. I'm going to put some boiled linseed oil on the fretboard. I've had guitarists tell me, no, don't take that off. That's what gives me my tone. That's bullshit. I'll tell Tom Peterson or Keith Richards or whomever that tells me, no, don't take that stuff off. Hear the difference? We're down to wood there. This is all gook and skin and DNA. That's board. Okay, so I have 21 more to do. Stand by. Okay, so we're back. We spent a lot of time off camera, probably about 30 minutes, cleaning up all the gook that was actually stuck to the fretboard. Many people don't even realize, oh, there's a gnat buzzing around in here, how much stuff can build up on the fretboard, right? So, yeah, moving on. By the way, all right, I got you. By the way, 1001 uses. Get one of these. String gauge. Stumac. We are going to now put some boiled linseed oil on this fretboard and bring it back to life. I know, a lot of you have seen this. It's okay. Some of you haven't. Right? Oh no, I didn't get him. There he's still buzzing around getting in our video. Oh, for the love of Pete. Almost like the smell of linseed oil. I don't know. There he is, right there, in front of my face. Well, you never know what you're going to get at 396 Guitars. We have a guest today. You see how this boiled linseed oil brings the fretboard right back to life after working it a little bit. Yeah, that's going to be just fine. This guitar is going to sing. Maybe we should just put it as a wall hanger. I don't know about that, kiddo. I don't know if I have anything to say about it. So you apply it and you take it off. It's kind of important to use boiled linseed oil. Don't use raw. The same kind of stuff you put on teak wood. Once a year, I do this to my bass guitars. Once a year. See the difference, right? That fretboard has come back to life. I love it. Tedious, time consuming, yeah, sure, but it's important. Got to do it. Got to do it. So you put it on and you take it off. Trust me, enough of it stays in the wood and it does its job. The last thing I do, clean side of the cloth, and I want to do the frets and just buff any oil that might be still on them off. A little bit of tarnish, not much. This guitar was in good shape. It had just been languishing and kind of not given any love or attention. I can tell you at some point in its life, it's been played. It's got fret wear, strings hitting it, the money zone, mostly right here. There was a lot of gook from, playing it, sweat, old dead skin gets on there. Yeah. Well, all right, I got to kill this gnat. Now, what we're going to do is go to reassembly, right? And what I'm going to show you is putting the Bigsby on. Oh wait, nope, sorry. I got to clean this thing up. Let's put the guitar. Let's hang the guitar. I think the Bigsby's going to need a little love, right? Yeah, it's pretty dirty. Grungy. Same stuff. Same stuff. All we got to do is get the outside layer off of it. Clean up. So far, this whole video has been cleaning this guitar up, right? There's just a bunch of crud on it and everything that's exposed. And it could be because it was just, I may have to put this on the buff wheel. No, it's just varnish. That's all right. I'll get it cleaned up enough to use. Wow, it's dirty. It's dirty. I want to get the hair and the gook off of it. My goodness. All right, I'm going to pause. Yeah, you saw that coming, right? Because little tiny meticulous stuff needs to be cleaned up. I can't give it back to him like that. I'm going to put this on a nice clean guitar. I got to get the gook off of it. Stand by. So yeah, sometimes my OCD kicks in and I got to go, no, that needs to be cleaned up too. Is it perfect? Is it brand new? No, but trust me, I got the outer layer of grunge off, especially around here where the strings go and the shiny part. You know, this is the reveal on the top of the guitar. And let's face it, Bigsby's are that's some pretty sexy stuff on top of a guitar, right? Back on the bench. Now, I want to make sure that I get this on there. Exactly the way it came off. And I want that ground wire right there to be right underneath our tailpiece. Yup. So we don't need our tape. And no, you don't want to solder the end of that if you can avoid it, because it will just leave a little lump there. You don't want to tin that wire. You want it to be crushed so that the wire can spread out under the pressure of that being screwed back into the guitar. And that will give us our bridge ground. Carefully. Oh, so carefully. Put your screws back in. That's perfect. Tedious work, but it has to be done to make a guitar come back to life sometimes. I just can't, I can't forget that this young man came to me with his father's guitar and said, maybe I should just turn it into a wall hanger. I don't know where he got that term from. I mean, I've used it, but that looks really nice. But no, this guitar wasn't in that category at all. Not even close. Strap button. There shouldn't be a difference between the one up here on the horn and this one. Am I going to have to... Nope, it snugs right up. These are always a problem on Gretches, but this one is snugging right up, which tells me it has probably never had a strap on it, because these always get whopped out of shape and pulled out, and they're kind of a pain to fix. But all right, let's get back to it here. So clean. Bigsby is back on. Right, the felt is still in good shape. We're not going to have to monkey with that. Beautiful. We have our mark here. We've oiled, cleaned the frets, oiled the board, cleaned all the gook off of the fretboard, and boy, let me tell you, it's standing tall. And I know the camera's picking up on that. There he is. I got him. No, I didn't get him. Sorry. His day is coming. This I'm going to clean off camera because I want to take this off and really get it cleaned up well. Kind of burning up some video time here. Let's call today a wrap. We are well on our way to getting this guitar strung up and put back together. Off camera, I'm going to clean this up and kill this gnat that is absolutely ruining my video. Blackjack with 396 guitars. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for your questions. I try to answer them all. If you have any questions, please ask anytime. I'm more than happy to help. If you dig what I'm doing, like and subscribe, and please, by all means, share.